also heavily worked with Spring Security, Spring Boot, deploying microservices applications. Also, that is the current tool I'm actually working with right now.
Okay. So, what kind of application server are you currently using?
So currently I'm using like Apache Tomcat, also Tomcat right now, but basically work with JBoss as well, JBoss and also like Pressure.
Have you ever used JBoss?
Yeah, even in the current project, had a good experience on working with the JBoss like configuration wise. So yeah, I would say like pretty experience on that.
Meghna, your voice is breaking up. Could you put your mic closer to your mouth and talk?
Yes. Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah, that is better because, and while you speak, could you be a little bit slower so that we can understand better?
Sure, no problem.
So can you repeat it about your JBoss application server? Which version have you been using that before?
Yeah, so the JBoss one right now I'm working with the AS 7.1 in the current project role 7.0.
Okay. So do you familiar with the JBoss setup?
Yeah, I had good experience on like doing the JBoss configuration and installation and troubleshooting as well. So I was actually in the current project role like installing the JBoss environment, setting up the path environment with Bull, installing the JBoss application server in a binary form like in a star file, then kind of like downloading the product and then extracting the server and then starting the server like basically good experience on setting up those paths and
Okay. So you're using the Spring, and so you mentioned here the Spring Boot framework. Can you briefly just tell me about how do you use the Spring Boot framework for your application?
Yes, so basically I was actually deploying a microservices driven Spring Boot application. So what I was actually doing was I was kind of creating like security for Spring Boot using Spring REST and Spring Security. And it was like into a Docker environment, into a Docker container. Basically I was doing the deployment. Use the Spring Boot annotations like at the rate enable configuration to actually do the deployment using at the rate enable auto configuration, set up the dependencies using that and then deploy.
Okay. So you're also using the Hibernate?
So currently I'm using Hibernate. Yeah, I'm currently using Hibernate as the ORM object relational mapper. So I had a bit of experience on setting up first level caching and second level caching in Hibernate as well. Also good experience on doing like transactional and cacheable query.
Can you also configure Hibernate the second level caching using EHCache to reduce the number of hits to the configuration table data? Can you explain to me about this?
So actually one of the things is that Hibernate second level cache provides like a EHCache and there is something called as infinite span, right? So but I was actually using the EHCache. So basically what I was actually doing was, set up the EHCache in Maven dependency and then particularly enable the configuration using the hibernate.config.xml file and then set up the EHCache configuration as well. Basically using the disk store as well as default cache and will be that one in the current environment too. just like improving the performance of the application and then increasing the read and write capacity.
How do you monitor the performance improvement after you implement this caching?
Performance improvement, basically one of the things I was actually working with App Dynamics right now, so we actually have the tools for performance optimization. And one of the interesting things is that we are actually able to read the, I could say the latency request and then find it out there.
About the front end, what kind of technology you're using in the front end?
I'm actually using right now AngularJS, so I had good experience on development on front end as well. So I actually migrated from Angular 2 to Angular 4 right now, work with HTML5 and CSS3, like including blocks model. And before I actually worked with the React-based environment as well. So worked with hands-on experience with the React-based with Redux for on the front end. And we are using like Vue.js for templating, so hands-on experience with that, I could say. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Meghna. I'm a senior developer, and you see Ravi Konduru, who is my technical lead on the other window. Are you able to see him?
Yes, yeah, I can see the role. Yeah, hi, Ravi.
Okay. Julia Mao is my manager actually, so I'll go through the resume once again. So when you talk, because I'm a slow listener, could you be a little bit slower when you speak? So let's start again actually. So you said Spring, right? So tell me how a flow goes in a Spring actually. What happens when a request is typed in a URL in a browser? So how does the application which is designed in Spring MVC, the flow goes? How is that?
Yeah, sure.
Like you type HTTP, that is the protocol, / you type a IP address, / context, / so how does it go?
Yeah, so basically, right, the Spring actually is a Spring workflow that uses the Spring MVC framework. Whenever, you type HTTP or some value, like there are different parameters like get, request, post, or that we generally call. But how the workflow looks like is that we have a dispatcher server that works at the backend. So there is a flow handler mapping that is provided by the instance of the flow registry. And then the flow handler mapping will request to the adapter which is responsible for handling the HTTP request. And then the flow handler adapter is actually an instance of the executor which is responsible for the lifecycle. So how it works is that it works in 3 stages. One is a view state and an action state, a decision state and an end state. And this is where like the action is made from the HTTP call where you actually do a conversion of the data. And then once the flow is available, you actually view it particularly on the front end. So which is like a login action and then filter. And generally the important classes in this is actually done by a flow handler mapping, flow handler adapter, flow executor, flow definition, and flow registry.
Okay. So what are the different scopes in Spring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there are like some of the building scopes, like you have singleton, prototype, request, session, and the global session, basically. This is the scope type of the thing.
Okay. So you said you specifically said you handled securities in a many times. So how did you handle the security in your application?
So in the current project, I was actually implementing OAuth 2.0 for security, as well as implemented Kerberos and AES 256-bit authentication. So what I was actually creating with the OAuth 2.0 is actually set up an authorization endpoint like /OAuth/authorize and a token endpoint which is used to service the request for the access token. And then at the externally of the authorization server configuration, basically set up a client detail server configuration. So whenever there is a basic request, you wanted to encrypt that basically via AES-56, and then basically use a JWT JSON web token to kind of grant the request and then protect that. And then I was actually using the implicit grant right now, grant service that manages that. So that's all I'm actually working with now, just for security.
Okay, so and one more question is you said you are using AngularJS, right, on the front end?
Yes, it is correct, yeah.
Yeah, and the back end you are using the Spring Boot with REST, right?
Yes, and then we have a middle layer which is using Node.js on server side as well, basically. So I had experience with that too, you could say.
Okay, so how do you handle the different states of a client actually?
Yeah, so I handle client state basically as an SS. Yeah, so generally if you wanted to maintain any client state, usually, say for example, you can access a session basically. Many applications require a state, right? So you can maintain a state like a session, because generally HTTP is stateless. So what you can do is you can enable a session management and then enable session tracking. But you can associate an object with a session and then kind of set out a period, like a timeout period, and then manage the database.
Okay. So, Meghna, do you find any particular reason using REST instead of SOAP?
Yeah, I would say a REST requests are stateless. They can be cacheable. They support both JSON and XML. But one of the advantages of using the SOAP request is that it actually provides a custom security implementation using Visual web service or description language. So that's one of the interesting things that you can generally use for SOAP compared with REST. But apart from that, it also provides WS security exchange, so those things basically you can use. And much easier to read as well, web services.
Okay, and you said that you have been into test-driven development, TDD. So, is it implemented, or is it how do you start a TDD?
Yeah, so basically in the current project, I'm using JUnit right now for test-driven development. And some of the best practices that I was actually following is I follow something called as a green light and the red light approach, where we write the first test and then we know it fails, and then it is because to a red light, and then we change the code and then we make sure it passes, which is a green light approach. And the process is we write the test, run the test, there is no implementation code, the test does not pass, and then write the implementation code to make the test pass, and then run all of the test cases, refactor them, and then repeat that basically.
Okay, and do you have any experience in structs?
Yeah, so currently I work with in previous projects using structs as well, which is also similar to Hibernate. So basically I was actually working with structs 2.0, using struct annotations. So I have a good experience with that one struct.
No. The older version of structs like 1.x.
Oh, the one I actually worked with 1.3.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked with the 1.3, so actually for a bit of experience on that.
So, if given a migration project from Struts to Spring, what will be your approach? My technology stack will be JBoss, Spring, and later stages we will be using AngularJS, and the backend will be Oracle. So how will you start the migration?
Yeah,
You
so
can tell it in
like,
a high
so Struts to Spring migration, basically mapping is created while processing the Struts request, so you have to do nothing in Spring rather than providing a direct request mapping, basically. And what happens is that, like in the Struts to for the first step, you can replace the Strut library with Spring library. Like first, while migrating from Struts to Spring, you can replace the Struts. Then, like your basic library set, then you make the changes to web.xml for the Struts to Spring migration. And then in the Spring application, web.xml replace the config files for the Struts to Spring migration. And look for the JSP changes for the Struts to Spring migration, basically, which is like you have to set up Oracle or the backend, basically. And also, like if you're using like AngularJS on the front end, kind of change the configuration file for this, and then work with that.
Okay, because we might be migrating the old application to a newer framework with JBoss as the application server. So we need to, you might be working alone, so how confident are you in working alone?
Yeah, I feel like we're fairly confident. Even in the current project, I work with a team of 2 people right now, but I'm also doing independent contribution as well. So currently we follow Agile here right now, like 2 weeks sprint cycle, every day stand-up meeting. So basically I would say, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done, Ravi. You can proceed.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Megha. Can you talk a little bit about Elasticsearch, AWS Elasticsearch? I see that you have in your latest project.
Yeah. So actually, in the current project, I set up the AWS, ELK stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana dashboard on my AWS environment right now. So currently, why are we using the Elasticsearch is because we wanted to monitor all the security incident management systems like spam attacks, phishing attacks, or anything related to double authentication events. And right now, I provisioned the Amazon Elasticsearch cluster on an EC2 M4 Path Logic instance, and then installed the Amazon Kinesis agent on the server and created Amazon Kinesis Firehose delivery stream that will actually pop out the request into that. That is the current setup in the ELK that I actually set up. And on the Kibana, I have designed for some of the customizations as well.
I'm having a little difficulty in understanding. One is just cutting a little bit, and then you are speaking very fast, quick.
Yeah, just slow down. I think we all have a little bit of difficult to, understand. Yeah, I know you talk a lot. Yeah, just try to slow down.
Yeah. Sure. So, yeah.
I'm just cutting a little bit.
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
So what are the advantages of using the Spring JDBC?
So you want to say the Spring JDBC advantages? Yeah, so some of the Spring actually, the benefit of using the JDBC template is that it allows you to clean up the resources automatically, so we don't have to write extra code. And also the Spring JDBC template, it offers a lot of ways to query the database. If you want, it will actually convert the standard JDBC SQL exceptions into runtime exceptions. So it's much more easy to, flexible to treat the errors. Those are some of the things. And mostly elimination of boilerplate code, I could say. With JDBC template compared with Hibernate template.
Okay. Do you have experience in the front end and the back end coding, or which one you prefer?
I feel I can work on both of them if given a choice. I worked with Angular as well as React.js. Basically, I also worked on backend like Node.js, Spring Boot, like Java as well. But basically, 60% backend and the 40% on front end, I could say.
Okay. Do you have experience with JBoss application server?
Yeah, basically in the current project I was working with JBoss and that was well good experience on configuring, also like kind of troubleshooting some of the environments basically on the AS7.0. So setting up the directory structure, yeah, okay. Configuration.
So you are currently in the current project you are using JBoss?
Yes, that is correct.
And as well as WebLogic?
Actually, I'm using like Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, so it's actually two applications I'm supporting right now. So the one that I'm primarily working is using JBoss, and the other one basically, really uses like something called as like the Tomcat that I mentioned before.
No, I didn't understand. So are you using JBoss, Tomcat, WebLogic, all three of them in the current?
No. Only JBoss. Yeah, only
so
JBoss.
you're using only JBoss?
Yes, that is correct. And right now, yeah.
Okay, because your latest project says you're using WebLogic app server.
Yeah, so we actually migrated basically. Previously we were using WebLogic, so like basically we migrated the application from WebLogic to AS7 entirely and stopped using WebLogic basically from Oracle WebLogic to JBoss.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Cody, do you have anything else?
One more question for you, Mahana. I saw you have a master degree in the U.S. So how long have you been working in the United States? And do you mind to share when did you get your master degree?
Yeah, so I did my, in the US, it's been close to 5 years, 4 to 5 years now, 4.5 years to be exact. Basically that I actually had US experience, United States experience. And I did my master's in basically computer science. So I did it from Wilmington University in Delaware, basically.
So which year? How long have you been in the United States?
Yes. So basically I came on here. Yeah, 5 years.
It's been 5 years, right?
5 years?
5. Yes, 5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. More question, Lee, or we're good?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
How difficulty in hearing? That's the main thing.
Yeah, maybe the phone or we have some cut off and it's difficult to hear in it.
Yeah, Meghna, are you doing the same interview calls on the same telephone line which you are talking right now?
Yes, the same one.
Because we have some difficulty in understanding you as such, but we were like 70 to 80% okay, but the rest of the 30% we couldn't get what was happening actually when you speak, and you spoke like at a faster pace actually, and there is no time constraint as such. We have we had like 1 hour of time. So anyways, but we could sum it up. We could gather some of the information from what you have said. So
are you
Yes.
When will you
I can
bring home?
relocate. I'm completing this. Yeah, I'm completing this Friday, so I can start next Monday.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's right.
So education, Meghna. Were you certified in AWS?
Yes. I'm going through the Developer Associate, Certified Developer Associate program.
Are you already finished or you are working on it right now?
Yeah, working on it right now.
Working on it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Sure.
Okay, I think I have no more questions. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, really.
I will contact Merrick and let them know. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Meghna.
Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Have a great evening.
బాగా జరిగిందంట.
సూపర్
అది ఒక్కటే ఇండియా యుఎస్ ఎప్పుడు వచ్చావు అన్నది ఒక్కటే
డెవలపర్ అసోసియేట్ కూడా వాడు అడిగితే